In this video, we're going to showcase the organization functionality. As you can see in the background, we have a scene that is crudely put together as we have floating trees, but that is not the point. So imagine you have created a scene that has a load of assets and you've been speed developing in order to get the scene quite nice, and your hierarchy now looks like this. So what we can do with the Flowmaster tool is we can go to Flowmaster and we can select by name. If you happen to have multiple objects with similar naming conventions such as rock, mushroom, so forth, we can use search and select objects. So for example, let's go with tree. So if we search tree now, it will highlight and select every object that has tree within the naming conventions. So what we can do now is we can either choose to bulk rename, which for a showcase I will do. So we will call this a environment underscore, and then let's override the original name and call it tree, and then underscore game object. So obviously you can have the prefix and the suffix. They're all optional. You can choose to have no suffix or no prefix and just change the name. Then we can add numbering options, and we can have a padding of 1, 2 to however many you want. What padding means is the more numbers. So if I actually put 3, it'll actually have 3 numbers, so it'll be 3 integers at the end, as you can see. So if we just keep it at 1, then we have renamed everything for environment tree game object. So what we can do now is, this is where the organization starts. We can actually go into here and we can actually set up as environment. For now, we will use just environment. So we have a load of trees selected, and we're just going to use the environment tab that is already within the package, and we click it, and it will highlight all of these in the color for the tree. So from this, we can now open my favorite tool called the organizer. So what this organizer does, now that everything's been tagged, we can take these objects and pack them neatly into an environment asset. So make sure environment's tagged and then organize. And as you can see, we have environment asset now set up, and all of the trees are selected into here. Now, there is a tab here, and if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it does. What this does in the short is if this is ticked, it'll make sure that all of these objects that have parents, it will find the highest parent and then use that asset as the thing that is parented into the asset point. So the highest parent here, the environment asset. What we can do is, say you, instead of just having all of these in environment, you want it specific. So for example, you want 1 for mushrooms, 1 for trees, 1 for rocks, and 1 for other things. You can actually go to here, create a new tag, and then let's do 1 for mushrooms. Now, this tag color is what will show up on the hierarchy. So if we get, say, a pinky color, because that kind of makes sense for mushrooms, let's click add custom tag. Now mushrooms are in here. So all we need to do now is go back to our search by name and go mushroom, and then search all for all these objects, apply a bulk tag, or if it's already open, just go directly to it, select the tag, which we have mushrooms here, and apply to children as well. Apply. So now you can see they've all highlighted again, and all we need to do is go down to the organizer and click mushrooms and organize the objects. Now I'm just going to speed through this and I'll be with you shortly. Right, so before I continue, we do have this aspect. So as you can see, we've got stumps, and we also still have branches on here as well. So a worry that people may have is, if I now go and organize all the damaged environment, we have damaged environment assets. Now, if I then go and add to branch, and find all the branches, apply the damaged environment, and then organize them again. Let's apply the damaged environment to all the branches. And what we want to do now is use the organizer to the damaged environment. What this is going to do is, instead of making a new one, because it can distinguish, if we press organize, all of those are going to go into damaged environment assets. As you can see, all the branches have been in here. Now if we close all of these sections, now you can see the hierarchy is so much more clear. even after doing speed build quick prototyping. So you can freely create your level and sort it out within a few clicks, from having a really messy hierarchy to something nice and easy and color cued for ease of access. Now let's move on to the favorite system. So within this Flowmaster tool, we not only have the ability to organize all of our assets quickly, rename them, tag them, and folderize them, we also have favorites. Now favorites is something that I've wanted inside of Unity for a while. We have all these assets, right? So if we actually go over to this asset and say we're working on an asset where a tree can fall out. Okay, so we need a breakable tree. Let's just create a new collection. So making a new collection, let's call this trees scene 1 and then add. So now we've got trees scene 1. What you can do is you can click select objects to favorite. This is added to the favorite drop down. We can have multiple favorite drop downs, well, multiple favorites in this drop down by consistently pressing add selected object to favorite. So what this is doing is adding it to a hidden data area within favorite, and it's collecting them. It's also, if I actually go and view one of these environments, it's adding a UUID component to it so we can identify it from cross-scene compatibility. So let's just showcase how this works. If I actually go into, say, game object 27, it will select and put it into frame the tree or the game object of your choice and make sure it's selected so you can easily add the script. Then we can actually move to another one and it will do the same. As you can see, let's get a better showcase with rocks maybe, because rocks have a lower naming level. Let's just add these two rocks. As you can see, rock 0532. If I press view, it goes to rock 0532. Then rock 0525, rock 0525. So we're instantly moving between our favorite object. Now, if I close this and then reopen it, inside of our tree scenes, that everything is still there. Now, if I save the project, close the project down, now give me a second. Right, let's open up this project. If we go into Tools, Flowmaster, and Favorites, wait for it to buffer, tree scene still has all of the favorites and they are still functional. So not only does it have memory, it also saves from different days of development. Now this has one more step. If I actually go over to sample scene, as I made a sample scene without assets just for showcase and then realized it would probably be better to show you that you can speed prototype. If we actually make a new collection and call this scene 2 and add this collection, now we have scene 2 selected, add the selected objects to favorites, so player 8, and then let's save and move over to showcase again. We are back on our scene that we're working on, but if we say wanted to go over, we were working on this and we went over to rock, and then we'd finish rock, then we move over to the other rock. We can then say we needed to do something on the other scene. We needed the player for some reason on the other scene. Maybe it's a spawn location or a hub or whatever is in your game development. If I press view, it saves the previous game or the previous scene and then moves directly over to the other scene, puts it into view and selects it so you can edit it. And we can do the same to go back to the rocks. Now, in order to remove a favorite, if you click remove here, it will actually remove the UUID from the object as well as remove it from your drop down. So don't worry and make sure you are using this route, because otherwise if I say delete this, you won't be able to remove the object in collection. So that is the favorite functionality. You can simply just add it onto here, move it over slightly as it is slightly large, and you can have a favorites bar to speed up your development flow. Now finally, we do have another functionality within this Flowmaster. We have a to-do list. Now this is not the main selling point, but it is quite nice to have. So for example, if you have, say you need to do level 1, add task, you need to do the character animation, and you also need to do environment art. So now we have all of these tasks. Now what this can do is simplify the fact that you no longer need to tab in and out, so you can add all your priority tasks here, and once you've completed them, if you click the tick, it will actually go down to completed tasks. Sometimes this is in the drop down, so just click this little arrow here and it'll tell you you've completed it and how long it took to complete that task, just so you can keep an eye out on time. So that is the end of Flowmaster's tutorials. Hopefully this will help speed up your workflow dramatically and also organize your hierarchies perfectly to help improve your development flow.